So here's what's going to happen. Republicans will take control of Congress, and next year they'll begin impeaching Biden and never stop. They'll impeach him for getting out of Afghanistan and getting into Ukraine. For inflation, for recession, for falling off his bike, it won't matter and it won't make sense. But Biden will be a crippled duck when he goes up against the 2024 Trump Kari Lake ticket. And even if Trump loses, it doesn't matter. On Inauguration Day 2025, he's going to show up, whether he's on the list or not.
Welcome to another F.O.E. We have Bill Maher, fear-mongering. Fear-mongering Bill. Bill, I like Bill, but Bill's full of shit. And we're going to dive into it right now. We're going to debunk last week's new rule. Well, yesterday's new rule, actually.
New rule, well, we had a good run. I know that's not really a rule, but since everything in America is about to change in a very fundamental way, what the fuck? Rules are about to go out the window. Tuesday is Election Day, and I know I should probably tell you to vote in what, honest to God, is really the most important election ever. So, okay, yes, you should vote. And it should be for the one party that still stands for democracy preservation.
Yeah. I hope you're not referring to the Democrats, Mr. Bill Maher. The party that has a wholesale on the media, on entertainment. That party that cancels people. That party that also denies elections, just like the Republicans. But you guys have all those other four monkeys on your back. So if there's a party that's for democracy, I would have to say it's the Republican Party. Again, they're projecting. Everybody knows who's trying to silence other people. Go to college campuses and see how many Republican student bodies do you have. You're not going to find many. Those are liberals. They don't want to hear the other opinion. And that's not democracy, my friend.
But it's also a waste of breath, because anyone who believes that is already voting, and anyone who needs to learn that isn't watching, and no one in America can be persuaded of anything anymore anyway.
Yeah, you say that so certain, my friend, with that smug smile on your face, yet Donald Trump persuaded Hispanics to vote Republican with record numbers, blacks and Asians. I myself have persuaded liberals to take a look at Donald Trump and vote for him. So yeah, people can be persuaded, just not by the shit that you're preaching, my friend.
The January 6th hearings, it turns out, changed nobody's mind. Democrat Jamie Raskin said the hearings would tell a story that will really blow the roof off the House. No, that was Hurricane Ian. The hearings, roof not blown. The committee did a masterful job laying out the case, but we live in partisan America now, so it's a little like doing stand-up when half the crowd only speaks Mandarin. No matter how good the material is, it's not going to go over. After all the hearings, the percentage of Americans who thought Trump did nothing wrong went up 3 points. That's America now. It's like trying to win an argument in a marriage. Even when you're right, it still gets you nothing.
Again, the liberal playbook. When people look at the same evidence that you look at and you're a liberal and they don't agree with you, or they must be stupid, they're speaking another language, or they have nefarious purposes. It can't be that they looked at the same information and as a rational human being say, it's not adding up, I don't agree with you, my friend. Let's look at this again. No, they speak Mandarin, or they're racist, or they're homophobic. Yeah, pretty pathetic. Liberals are pretty pathetic.
Ben Franklin said our country was a republic if you can keep it. Well, we can't. And unless a miracle happens on Tuesday, we didn't. Democracy is on the ballot, and unfortunately, it's going to lose. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's not something you can
Yeah, I'll believe that right away when I see it.
change your mind about in reverse. That's gender. So here's what's going to happen. Republicans will take control of Congress, and next year they'll begin impeaching Biden and never stop. They'll impeach him for getting out of Afghanistan and getting into Ukraine. For inflation, for recession, for falling off his bike, it won't matter and it won't make sense. But Biden will be a crippled duck when he goes up against the 2020.
Notice how he mentions everything except for the one thing he can get impeached for. The fucking border. That one slipped his mind, didn't it? See what I mean? He's a sly guy, this Bill. But I'm not sure if he does it on purpose. But definitely should have mentioned the border, because that one he probably is going to get impeached for, or they're probably going to try. Stays away from that border, man, like, shit.
24 Trump Carrie Lake ticket. And even if Trump loses, it doesn't matter. On Inauguration Day 2025, he's going to show up, whether he's on the list or not. And this time, he's not going to take no for an answer, because this time he will have behind him the army of election deniers that is being elected in 4 days. There are almost 300 candidates on the ballot this year who don't believe in ballots. And they'll be the ones writing the rules and monitoring how votes are counted in 24. The facts, the policies, the behavior don't matter anymore. Trump could be filmed throwing a baby off a bridge and still win. Not to give...
Now, the thing with that is, what he's not going into is that you can easily say, yeah, 300 election deniers. Well, I think the election was stolen from Trump. But I don't think there was all these machines and all this bullshit. It was what I said before. Social media, entertainment, the news, everything went for one person. And they blocked stories that will hurt one candidate and just went guns ho on another candidate. Yeah, that's to me a stolen election, my friend. That shouldn't even be allowed. But it's the way things went. Am I a crazy conspiracy theorist? No. You would have to ask those people individually if they believe that the machines and the charisma and all that stuff. I don't. But the election was stolen, absolutely. Americans are not that stupid to choose this fucking mummy. And they did. Because they were misinformed on purpose.
Give Herschel Walker any idea. This really is the crossing the Rubicon moment, when the election deniers are elected, which is often how countries slide into authoritarianism, not with tanks in the streets, but by electing the people, who then have no intention of ever giving it back. The Republican up for Wisconsin governor just said if he's elected, quote, Republicans will never lose another election. This is how it happens. Hitler...
Yeah, he can mean that he's going to do such a good job that liberals will never stand a chance again. That actually happens in some states and in some counties. So what are you talking about?
Hitler was elected. So was Mussolini, Putin, Erdogan, Viktor Orban. This is the it can't happen to us moment that's happening to us right now. We just don't feel it yet. We're the Titanic right after the iceberg hit. And honestly, too many Americans just don't care. And won't even care after it happens. Because they never followed politics to begin with and were never taught in school what democratic government was supposed to look like. So how sad can they be about losing something they never knew they had? You can try and tell them that we will no longer have a system of checks and balances, but they will have an answer for that. What's checks and balances?
No. Why dumb me down the other side? I guarantee you conservatives know more about checks and balances than liberals. Your average ones walking around in the streets. And everybody knows that. He knows that. Watch Flecker Talks, please. There's a channel called Flecker Talks. And tell me how liberals know more than conservatives. Please, man.
Democracy's hard. Athens didn't have to deal with Fox News or the smartphone that made everybody stupid. And they only lasted 200 years. So R246 doesn't look that bad. But before we do go, I'd like to say a little farewell to some of the things that really did make America great, that Now we're going to lose forever. Like the peaceful transfer of power. The jewel in our crown, that thing that so many other nations couldn't pull off that we always did. Oh well. The Bill of Rights. When there is no accountability at the ballot box, there are no actual rights. Look, Generalissimo Trump is not going to bring back child labor or end Social Security or resegregate the water fountains. He doesn't hate Jews. Ivanka's a Jew and he loves her.
So why would you compare him to all those other dictators from before? That's smart propaganda. Scaring the shit out of you and then telling you, it's okay. But that's how Hitler started. You know, but still keeping you engaged. I don't know if they do it on purpose, but it is intelligent.
Now that she's 40 only as a friend, but still. But make no mistake, it will be an entirely different way of life for many. Because our elections will just be for show. Like in China and Russia and all the other places Trump says are very strong. Free speech? Well, he's a man who's always taken criticism well. But I wouldn't count on that one lasting.
He's never tried blocking anybody, ever. That'd be the people on the left, my friend.
I wouldn't count on freedom of...
Trump is for dialogue. That guy loves yapping those goddamn gums everywhere he goes. How do you get... I'm sure Trump will probably give this guy an interview before Obama, whatever. And this guy gave Obama $1 million. Obama never gave you that interview in your show. Trump would have been there so fast it would have made your fucking head spin. So don't talk to me about free speech with Trump. That guy needs to shut the fuck up a little bit. He needs less speech, if anything.
Religion lasting. QAnon and the other shock troops
He doesn't like censoring. He likes debate.
Of the Trump takeover of the Republican Party are all quasi-religious entities who want a Christian government. Oh, and the FBI might be replaced by an army of Proud Boys under the leadership of Michael Flynn. Even something like pot, will it stay legal? It probably depends on whether Snoop Dogg calls Trump brilliant one day. I mean, that's how things will be decided, not by the rule of law. Ah, the rule of law. That one was a...
Pot's not going anywhere, dude. You're bugging.
Real jewel, yeah. Maybe our finest hour as Americans was after World War II when we gave even the defeated Nazis a fair trial. Justice Robert Jackson said that voluntarily submitting our captive, defeated enemies to the rule of law was one of the most significant tributes that power had ever paid to reason. Well, power will very soon not be paying any more tributes to reason. Not in America, anyway. So, yeah, I urge you to vote, but I've always been a realist. I'm afraid democracy is like the McRib. It's here now. It'll be around for a little bit longer, so enjoy it while you can.
Fear-mongering. There you have it.